in my opinion, this movie was great, but it's rather disappointing. So that's why we're going to have to talk about this today. Let's get started. What's up, guys? James here, and I'm here today to do a review on Ice Age Continental Drift. So before we get into this review, for those who haven't seen this movie, I highly suggest you to click away this video because there's going to be spoilers in this review. So get out of you if you haven't seen it. But if you have seen this movie, then I guess enjoy this review. So Ice Age Continental Drift, not directed by Carlos Saldana because he's not directing this movie, but served for executive producer, but directed by Steve Martino and Michael Vermeer, and it tells a story about Manny, Diego, and Sid embark upon another adventure after their continent is set adrift using an iceberg as a ship. They encountered sea creatures and battle pirates as they explored a new world. So that's it for the plot of this movie. Now let's get on to my thoughts on this movie. So yeah. Now, I remember watching this movie back when I was a kid in 2012 when my parents taken me to go to the movies to see Ice Age Continental Drift in 3D. And yes, I've watched it and rewatched it with one of my friends on Instagram. And guess what? It was a great movie, but it's a mixed bag. So I'm gonna have to tell you why it's a mixed bag. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm gonna have to start with good qualities and then we'll get on to the bad qualities. So yeah, well, the animation for this movie, it was amazing. And it was a big step up for the previous Ice Age movies, such as Ice Age The Meltdown, and Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, which I did a review on these. If you want to go check it out, go ahead. And in making it look quite cinematic and beautifully detailed for this movie. So yeah, well, the story here for this movie, it's actually interesting as it provides stakes, progression, and character development, which was absent from Dawn of the Dinosaurs for this movie. So yeah, well, although the story becomes predictable, which we'll get to that bad quality after those good qualities, so yeah, it becomes more striking than what can be seen with the naked eye, showing or addressing quite serious issues such as the loss of the family, the destruction of the home, the maturation of the children, the kidnapping, and self-esteem issues for this movie. So yeah, well, the voice acting for this movie, it was great. Like the first three films, such as the cast members, such as Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, Dennis Weary, Nicki Minaj, Drake, Jennifer Lopez, Queen Latifah, and especially Wanda Sykes, who I think this is a perfect casting choice for Granny. And for Peter Dinklage, I think he makes an entertaining, yet at the same time, menacing performance for Gut for this movie. So yeah. Alright, so sorry about that for not making the next one because I was busy with other stuff. So sorry about that. But anyways, as I was saying, well, some of the characteristics are still done right. And of some, the new characters are neat. For example, the character that I want to talk about is the character Manny, who got flanderized for this movie, which we'll get to that bad quality after those good qualities. His overprotectiveness makes sense as he is afraid Peaches will face the same fate as his previous child, although this concept could have been better executed for this movie. So yeah, well, another character that I want to talk about is the character Sid. Despite his carelessness having been much more exaggerated compared to the first three films, which we'll get to that bad quality after those good qualities. Once again, he is still wonderfully funny and helpful. Like when he, along with Granny and Precious, saved Manny at the climax, he also still has a few smart and wise moments, like when he says, "Yeah, but we survived and we still have each other. Things could be worse, right?" So yeah, and though not as much as in the first three films for this movie. So yeah, another character that I want to talk about, actually two characters that I want to talk about are the characters Diego and Ellie. They were the only characters from the previous films that are not flanderized at all. For example, the character Diego still being sarcastic yet hardcore and selfless voice of reason as a reader in critical moments, and for the character Ellie still being Peach's sweet mother who accepts and supports her wish to explore and meet new people, as well as Manny's voice of reason for this movie. So yeah, well, despite the character Scrat causing the main plot being illogical and feeling off, which once again will get that bad quality after the good quality. So yeah, his slapstick gag of failing to get his acorn is still hilarious as always. Yeah, it still holds up as being hilarious. So yeah. Alright, so sorry about that for not making another one of these because I was busy with other stuff and I've overslept and I went somewhere. So yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, as I was saying, well, despite the two characters named Crash and Eddie, which is their stupidity being highly exaggerated compared to the last two films, which we'll get to that bad quality once again after those good qualities. Well, there's a scene which is hilarious. The "we very, very stupid," which is hilarious. Especially because of Wu's reaction, which is priceless. This is hilarious, to be honest. So yeah. Well, another character that I want to talk about is the character Peaches, who is another neat character, even though she was not likable as she was in Ice Age: A Memory of Christmas, which I did a review on it. If you want to go check it out, go ahead. But in this movie, she is likable in this movie better than Ice Age: A Memory of Christmas that learns about the value of friendship for this movie. So yeah, well, while the concept of pirates itself feels out of place for a franchise about prehistoric animals, which we'll get to that bad qualities after those good qualities. So yeah, well, the characters, Captain Gut and his crew are very entertaining antagonists, and while not as greatly written as Soto or Rudy, are actually more memorable than Cretaceous and Mouseor from the second movie. Gut himself, to be honest, is a solid character with an interesting personality despite his lack of motivation compared to Soto in the first movie. Once again, we'll get to that bad quality after those good qualities. Like I said, actually, while Soto cared for his pack for some extent and wanted to kill the baby because the humans wiped out most of his pack, Gut himself only cares of his own well-being and can be considered to be even more evil, to be honest, in this movie. So yeah, another character that I want to talk about is the character named Chira, who is, I think she is a great new character, and her relationship with Diego is surprisingly well written as natural. And her redemption arc, to be honest, is also well written for this movie. So yeah, well, another character that I want to talk about is another character named Ethan, who is alright too, as he doesn't bully Peaches unlike his friends do for this movie. So yeah, well, another character that I want to talk about once again is another character named Granny, who is Sid's grandmother, is by far the best and funniest part of the movie, and she is surprisingly well written comic relief here for this movie. So yeah, another character once again. Yes, I have to do that for reasons because it's probably part of the script because of the review. That's why. So yeah. Well, like I said, another character that I want to talk about is once again another character named Willis, who is quite likable too, as he is an actual kind and good-natured character. Plus, he shows fearlessness during the climax, which makes him even better for this movie. So yeah, the last characters that I want to talk about is the last characters named the Hyraxes, who are incredibly lovable and serve as a great prop for the plot for this movie. So yeah, alright, so sorry about that if I didn't make the next one once again because I was busy with other stuff, so yeah. But anyways, as I was saying, well, there's a climax scene, there's the final battle between Manny's pack against Captain Guts' crew in the midst of the destruction of the continent. To be honest, for me, I think it's high paced and very impressive to watch. I like that scene. So yeah. In addition to that, the boat chase scene, to be honest, it's quite dynamic and fun for this movie. So yeah, well, although the film has some filler scenes, such as the sirens, which I'm not going to show those photos for the characters. I'm sorry if I said that. So yeah, hope you understand that. They are quite funny and entertaining, to be honest, for this movie. So yeah, well, the soundtrack for this movie, it was nice, such as Captain Guts' villain song, Master of the Seas, and the end credits song, We Are. The John Powell score for this movie is also incredible, like in the previous two for this movie. So yeah, well, this movie, again, focuses on an adventure commanded by Manny, Sid, and Diego, something that has not been seen since the first or second film, to be honest, in this movie. Man, so glad that they go back to the old days like the first and second for this movie. So yeah, well, there's a good moral about never leaving a friend behind, and I think this is a good moral for this movie, to be honest. So yeah, well, there are some funny moments in this movie, like when Sid got sick from eating the berries and became paralyzed. And another scene where Sid drank salt water. Oh my god. And another scene which he said, "Holy crap," was a joke. And basically all the scenes involving Scrat and Granny. I love those scenes, to be honest. So yeah. Alright, so sorry about that for my different clothing because of reasons. So sorry about that. But anyways, as I was saying, well, in the case of this fourth installment, unlike another movie like Shrek the Third, which I might have to review someday. So yeah, which in several scenes, it puts jokes in serious moments, but in this installment, it does not add jokes in sad or serious moments. Thank God they didn't, because it will make us pissed off if they do that. So yeah. Well, there's a cameo of Buck and Rudy, which, while is very quick, which we'll get to that bad quality after those good qualities, to be honest. So yeah. Well, for this cameo, I think it's a nice Easter egg to the previous film, but I like when they brought Buck and Rudy back to this movie, just for a cameo only. But sadly, we didn't get a chance to see him fully. So yeah, well, the design of practically all the characters for this movie. It's incredibly beautiful and very striking and better for this movie. So yeah, well, in this movie, it contains a reference to the first film with Diego mentioning his former pack while talking with Shira, which I'm not going to show that photo. I don't have it, sorry. And there's another reference with Peaches, who was roasted by the Brat Pack for behaving and sleeping like a possum. It feels like it's a good reference to the second movie. And the last reference, the scene where Diego chases Chira on Switchback Cove, is notably inspired on the scene from the third movie where he chases a Giselle, and even the soundtrack is the same, making it a really nice and nostalgic reference that we've remembered from the third film, to be honest. So yeah. Alright, so sorry about that if I didn't make the next one, and sorry for different clothing. Well, actually, I'm wearing the same clothes from the last time. So yeah, sorry about that. So anyways, as I was saying, well, the relationship between Manny and his family, which I'm not going to show that photo. I'm sorry. Hope you understand that. To be honest, for this movie, it's really heartwarming for this movie. So yeah, well, all the international dubs that were released of the film worldwide from every country for this movie, to be honest, it's incredibly funny for this movie. So yeah, well, the ending for this movie, it's really emotional, especially when Manny reconciles with Peaches, which is heartwarming, and it's one of the best things that I've ever seen in a movie. So yeah, while the third movie was arguably a better to end the Ice Age franchise, but this movie actually could have been a decent conclusion too, with the herd finding a new land to live on, along with Granny and Shira being great additions to the cast, and both of Manny's family being brought together again for this movie. So yeah, well, the final credits, unlike Shrek the Third, which I'm not going to show the final credits for the photos, I'm sorry, hope you understand that. The final credits for this movie, to be honest, it's quite funny and work well with the background music that accompanies them for this movie. So yeah. Alright guys, so sorry about that for the different clothing because of reasons that you know. So yeah. But anyways, that's it for the good qualities for this movie. Now let's get on to the bad qualities of this movie. So yeah. Well, this movie is inferior to the first three Ice Age films, and it lacks any charm and charisma of the first three, as it is completely unnecessary for various reasons and was made to cash in. The main reasons that it didn't need a sequel, it's because, first of all, this third film had a good ending where it didn't need a sequel because Manny finally found a new family, and it ended the franchise on a high note. In fact, it's likely that Fox saw the box office of the previous movie and forced Blue Sky Studios to milk the series. Do you want to know why they milked the series? It's because they wanted just for money. So yeah, well, this movie itself, to be honest, it feels like that it's a parody of other movies like 2012, Avatar, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, and The Day After Tomorrow, which I watched Avatar and Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, except for Day After Tomorrow and 2012. I haven't seen those movies yet, but I'll watch it someday. Hope you understand that. So yeah, well, there's a romance subplot for this movie between the characters Diego and Shira. For me, in my opinion, to be honest, it seems pointless and it serves no purpose to the actual story, despite it being surprisingly well written and natural. it's just a mixed bag, in my opinion. So yeah, well, it recycles most of the element stories from Ice Age The Meltdown, where the main group is separated from the other animals. You wanna know why? It's because the ground below them has broke due to the world's changing. And now they have to find a way to get back to the earth and reach to a safe island at the same time, all while one member of the main trio meets and falls in love with a female individual of its own species that follows a misfit group. Well, not only it did recycle elements from Ice Age The Meltdown, but it also did recycle elements from Finding Nemo, where a father is overprotective because he lost his family as they don't want their children to meet the same fate. While the children love their fathers, they feel suffocated by their overprotectiveness, which leads them to say a hurtful thing to them. After that, the children are separated from their fathers, and the children feel sorry about what they did and said to their fathers. And the fathers must find their children while the same thing learning to let them be independent and live life to the fullest. Well, all the absolvent animal characters are portrayed as cocky, popular, teenage stereotypes, which is a pretty almost one of the dumbest things that has to do in a movie. So yeah. Well, there's a blanket and you'll miss it scene of Buck and Rudy from Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, which it makes it pointless when Scrat is falling through the earth, which can't be seen within the first 5 minutes. But still, despite the nice Easter egg from the previous film, but it's just a mixed bag for me in my opinion. So yeah, well, there's a continuity error for this movie. Well, this marks the second time Earth's continents break up and move to their current positions after the Gone Nutty short, which I did a review on it. If you want to go check it out, go ahead. And I'm not going to show that photo from the movie. Sorry, hope you understand that. While the short may not be canon, at least there it was exaggerated as here in this movie. So yeah, well, several of the characters never got a proper introduction of how they became a part of the characters' lives, which it's pretty pointless to do that. It needs an introduction before they can show their first appearances. So yeah, well, some of the humor can seem forced and nonsensical. Like one joke about mammoths going extinct, which it's pretty hypocritical, to be honest. And another mammoth claiming it as a double burn, which it's cringe and it doesn't make any sense, to be honest. So yeah. Alright, so sorry about that if I didn't make any because of reasons. So sorry about that. So yeah, but anyways, as I was saying, well, some of the recurring characters aren't portrayal all that great compared to the previous films. For example, the character named Manny, who in this film has become Flanderized in this movie. He went from sophisticated, grumpy, yet likable leader to a typical overprotective father cliche with peaches, which was copied in Hotel Transylvania, which I did a review on it. If you want to go check it out, go ahead. Luckily, after this film and Collision Course, after this review, I'll review Ice Age Collision Course. So yeah, he reverted back to his original personality in Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, which I'll do that review after Ice Age Collision Course, to be honest. So yeah, well, there are two characters named Crash and Eddie who were also Flanderized from intelligent and crafty pranksters who cared about their friends to obnoxious and pointless idiots that never take anything seriously and don't care about anyone's safety, not even their own. Seriously, Crash and Eddie, you When will you learn? When will you learn, Crush and Eddie? You have to learn from your lessons and your actions. You need to improve yourselves, to be honest. So yeah. Well, another character named Sid, who was also flanderized from a wacky and spontaneous yet smart, optimistic, and support best friend to Manny and Diego to a stereotypical, uncareful, and destructive lazy bum, and is dirtier than he was in the previous three films, such as vomiting out grape jelly, and also carelessness to the point that he ate a fruit that paralyzed him without knowing it, despite Diego's warning not to do it. Are you freaking kidding me, Sid? You're not supposed to eat a fruit. You need to listen to Diego, not eat a fruit. And vomiting out a grape jelly, that's disgusting. I do not like that scene, to be honest. So yeah, well, Scrat's slapstick gag of feeling to get his acorn, while it's still hilarious, I know, but it causes more conflict and chaos for our main characters, which kind of makes him the villain rather than Captain Gut. It looks like it, but it kind of makes him like a villain than Captain Good. Once again, I said it. I'm sorry about that. Hope you understand that. So yeah. Well, Scrat's shenanigans in the last three films may have kind of exaggerated, but they were still limited. But in this film, over-exaggerated it to 1,000,000, which is one of the dumbest things in this movie. So yeah. Plus, while absurd things happening to Scrat is hilarious because he is supposed to be like a Looney Tunes type of character. Manny, Sid, Diego, and the other characters are supposed to be realistic. So when Scrat's antics impacts on the main plot, it becomes highly illogical. Scrat never caused the main plot in the first three movies to begin with. It might be Scrat caused it. It did not cause the main plot for the first three films. In the fourth film, he did cause it, to be honest. So yeah. Well, the character Peaches, whose her behavior and personality in this movie is just a bratty teenage daughter stereotype. This is a shame because she was way more likable in this franchise. Christmas Special, Ice Age, A Memory of Christmas, where she had her father's sarcasm and irritability and her mother's kindness, sense of humor and strength, but still had a personality of her own. Oh my god. I do not like her behavior and her personality. She feels like that she's bratty, to be honest. So yeah. Well, although characters such as prehistoric animals do not have an important role in the film other than accompanying Ellie and Peaches, they also suffer from retrocession, becoming silly and cowardly animals who do not know how to react to this situation, contrasting with what happened in the second movie. Bruh, stop acting silly and cowardly. Oh my god, this is one of the dumbest things in a movie has twist 6. Well, once again, doing the same thing. So yeah, as I was saying, well, this movie can run on several amounts of mean-spirited levels most of the time, like how Sid's actual family in this movie, they are unlikable and pointless. They decide to abandon him and his granny just because they're screw-ups and deadweights. Are you freaking kidding me? Why would you abandon them just because they're scrubs and deadweights? That is completely unacceptable to do that. That is not nice to say that. And another thing, and how Peaches is bullied by the Brat Pack at the beginning of the movie. Are you freaking kidding me once again? The Brat Pack. Why would you bully Peaches for probably the personality and the behavior? Probably what she did. I don't know. So yeah, just let me know in the comments of what she did last time. So yeah, hope you understand that. So yeah, well, while Captain Gut and his crew are entertaining yet at the same time imitating antagonists with interesting personalities, which I'm not going to show those photos. Sorry, hope you understand that. The concept of pirates itself, it feels like it's very out of place for a franchise about prehistoric animals. It's like making a movie about racing and then making a sequel where the racing aspect turned into a subplot and the main plot is about spies. Plus, they don't have a purpose to why there are evil. They are not looking for gold. They're not looking for power. All they say is that they pillage, they will rifle and loot, and they kidnap and ravage, and they don't give a hoot. Yes, Gut's motivation later because Manny and his friends accidentally struck his first chip and stole his second one, but what about before it? It didn't change anything on his personality directly, unlike Soto and the rest of Diego's old pack from the first film, who actually had an established motive for his actions. Regarding Cretaceous and Maelstrom from the second film and Rudy from the third, they didn't need a reason because they were predator animals who were merely acting on instinct, while both Soto and Gut were acting on personal motives. Well, they brought rappers like Drake and Nicki Minaj in just so the film could appeal to the tween demographic and the hip hop fan base. Are you freaking kidding me? This is this is one of the dumbest things that it has to exist in this movie. So yeah, well, this movie feels like it's trying to juggle too much subplots, which I'm not going to show these photos. Once again, hope you understand that, including Manny trying to return to the continent to reunite with his family, Captain Gut wanting revenge on Manny for destroying his ship, Chira's redemption arc, Sid's trying to look after his grandmother, Peach's love triangle, Scrat using a treasure map to find his acorn, and Ellie and his pack escaping from the wall. Are you kidding me? This is too much subplot. You have to use probably one subplot or nothing. That's it. Please, just stop with too much. Just one at a time. Please. Hope you understand that. So yeah. Well, the humor in this movie made the franchise lose its way as it relies on humor from the 2010 generation on that topic, while previous Ice Age films rely on its own humor while staying true to its era to make it seem more realistic. But in this movie, it goes full fantasy with some of its scenes, like the ending scene with Scratlantis. I know I like the ending. The first half was really good, and on the second half, it feels like it's out of place and it doesn't need that to happen. It feels like it's funny, but sometimes unfunny, to be honest, in my opinion. So yeah, well, this movie completely ignores what happened in the third installment, since although we have the appearance of Rudy, Buck, Scrate, and Sid's reference to Mama Rex, which I'm not going to show that scene, hope you understand that, the third part seems that it never existed. Bruh, you need to reference what happened in the third one, not just ignore it. Oh my god. You need to learn from your lessons. Oh my god. So yeah. Well, while the villains are generally threats to many and the pack, but it's sometimes they lack depth, causing you to not take them seriously. So yeah, well, there's a few moments can portray as nothing but being filler in this movie, like the one with the sirens trying to attract the herd. Heck, it can't be an excuse to foreshadow the villain's defeat. To be honest, I do not like the sirens. Those characters are pointless in my opinion. So yeah. Well, once it reaches its climax, the movie forgets who the main character is, juggling in between Manny, Sid, and Lewis, which it made us almost confusing. We need to figure out who the main character is. Well, later that it was Manny all along, the main protagonist for this movie. Not just make us confused who the main character is. Oh my god. So yeah. Well, the love triangle story with Peaches, Ethan, and Lewis in this movie, it's incredibly pointless and feels cliche, especially since the character Ethan isn't ever mentioned in the following movie, and our character Lewis is reduced to a simple background character, while Peaches is now engaged to a new character later in the movie, which I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you who the new character is after this review in Collision Course. Hope you understand that. Making the love triangle subplots in this film even more useless in this movie. Actually, another movie, actually. So yeah. Well, the movie cliches in this movie, it's overused, which we've seen several times in other films. Seriously, we have enough of movie cliches. Just stop with the movie cliches already. So yeah. Once again, doing the same thing. So yeah. But anyways, as I was saying, well, the scene where Sid and Diego kiss each other, it's childish, cringeworthy, disturbing, and unneeded. Which is gay! And it makes me want to throw up. Alright, so sorry about that, about my throw up because of that scene, which is disgusting. But anyways, as I was saying, well, there are a few plot holes for this movie, but I'm not going to show these photos. Hope you understand that. But anyways, well, before the final battle, it is implied that Captain Gut arrived before Manny's ship, but that would be impossible in logical terms since one ship leaves after another. There is little chance that it will reach the ship they are chasing at the same time. They do not explain how the animals managed to get rid of the moving wall, or that Ellie and the herd of animals knew Manny, since all he said about his family was that he was looking to get them back. First of all, how? It needs to be explained for this movie. In the film, in a good part of the story, it is made clear that the land bridge is the place where they must escape. However, in the main climax, the bridge was destroyed. From here, many doubts arise as the bridge was destroyed or because Ellie and the pack didn't see it. First of all, or something, Ellie and Pack, you're supposed to see how the bridge is destroyed. When will you learn? You need to learn from your actions or something. You need to pay attention or something. So yeah, several of the animals aboard Gut's ship are carnivorous, Shara being saber-toothed tiger, Silas being a seagull, and Flynn being a sea elephant, for example. Yet all the pirate booty is all the fruit and vegetables? Okay, first of all, why are those characters eating? I mean, what are those characters eating, to be honest? It needs to be explained. So yeah. Well, there are false publicity for this movie. For example, during the promotion of this movie, the movie's trailer, the producer stated that the character of Rudy and Buck were also going to participate in the movie. However, these characters did not appear in the movie. except at the moment when Scrat forms at the continent. Really, only in one scene? You should have given them more scenes. It could have been more better. So yeah. Well, one of the main posters show Captain Gut and the crew accompanied by Dreadwalks, implying that they will be also the antagonists of these movies. But these rats only appeared at the beginning of many. Sid and Diego are approached by Captain Good, being their last appearance, but they no longer appear in the movie. When Manny destroys Captain Gut's ship, in fact, their first appearance, they are not even a threat, giving more the impression that they are more comic relief for this movie. So yeah, well, there are questionable song choices for the Ice Age era that don't fit on each scenes. For example, at Ethan's party, in the beginning, the song Chasing the Sun by The Wanted was used as a 2012 song. Are you freaking kidding me? Use a different song that it does fit. So yeah. And in one scene, Manny sings The Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr., a song that was released in 1971 for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie, which I'm not going to show that poster. Hope you all understand that. That song was a bit kinda overused, to be honest. Use a different song. So yeah. Well, the end credit song, We Are, sung by the cast. Wow, it's a good song. I know, I love that song. But it feels like that sounds too much like a 2010s pop song for this movie, to be honest. But it's a mixed bag for this song for the end credits. So yeah. Alright, so that's it for the back qualities of this movie. Now let's go on to my final thoughts on this movie. So yeah. Well, I gotta say to this movie, well, it was a great movie, but it's a mixed bag. And I'm not gonna say this is the worst Ice Age movie. I say this is the weakest Ice Age movie I ever seen in my entire life. I only say weakest because of that movie. So yeah. So that is why I'm gonna have to give Ice Age Continental Drift a 7 out of 10. It's a great movie, but it's a mixed bag, and it's the weakest one. So yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for watching for my movie review on Ice Age Continental Drift. What do you guys think of the movie, and what's your opinion on this movie? Well, for me, it's a great movie, but it's rather a mixed bag, and I forgot to say, it's rather disappointing, and I'm not going to say this again. I'm going to have to say this is the weakest Ice Age movie of all time. So yeah. Now, my next review is Ice Age Collision Course. Actually, my next short review is actually Cosmic Scratastrophe. Why? It's because it's going to lead up Ice Age Collision Course. So yeah, hope you understand that. So yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for watching for my movie review on Ice Age Continental Drift. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, my boy.